Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's only me again, and in this week's video we are not out doing any metal detecting. However, I am going to show you my absolute go-to program at the moment using the DEUS 2. Now I'm on version 1.1. The program is called Forager, and you might remember the program, or a very similar version of the program, which I used on the DEUS 1. However, this one has been primarily designed around version 1.1 on the DEUS 2, and it is an absolute belter. For instance, very recently I had a target in the ground which was about 1.5 feet, and it turned out to be an absolutely tiny silver halfpenny dating to Edward I. I couldn't believe how deep in the ground it was, and the ground had been absolutely baked for weeks and weeks because we haven't had any rain, and yet this thing picked it up loud and clear. So today in this video I'm going to share this setting with you all, and if you do install it on your remote and you go out and you try it, please don't forget to leave a comment, let me know how you get on with it. But as I say, I've given it to a few people so far and the feedback has been absolutely wonderful, so I hope you all enjoy it. But let's get straight into the program. So the first thing you're going to need to do is navigate to program number 1, and that's what this program is based on. So it's based on the general program in the DEUS 2. So just navigate to the general program, and then once you're there, all you need to do is hit the menu button in the middle, and you'll notice that the discrimination has come down from 10 to 7.4. So you just need to push the minus button to get that one down to 7.4, and then when you're there, just hit the expert button. And you'll notice that I'm using 3 tones. The reason I'm using 3 tones is because it gives you very good target separation. For instance, I've got a very low tone for iron and ferrous metals, a nice kind of mid-tone but still sweet, and that should hopefully cover a lot of the tin and alloy, bottle caps, those sorts of things. And then I've got a really nice high punching, super high tone, which is going to give you kind of all the coins and the silver and things like that. So if you go into the expert settings of 3 tones, what you'll see is that there are 3 segments. So the first segment is obviously 7.4 because that's what it was set at before. And then if you go across, you'll notice that the actual hertz is 202 and the volume of that one is on 7. Okay, so that's essentially your iron volume. And if you move down to the second segment, you'll notice that you've got 475 hertz, and that's the tone on that one. The volume is at 10, okay, and that one's going all the way up to 73. So the last segment there would be anything, or the VDI of 73 and above is going to give you a tone of 951 hertz at a volume of 7. So all you need to do is copy all those in, okay? Of course, these are customizable and you can put whatever tone breaks you want in there, but for me and for this program, they really are good and they really help sort of, choose between each different type of metal. So next up, if you come out of that menu, you're gonna go down to where it says bottle caps. I've got that one on 3, okay? So again, that's gonna help you around, obviously, bottle caps, but it's also going to help you around big odd-shaped iron, okay? Now, I've tried this and I've tested it, and with bottle caps on 0, believe it or not, the machine will actually make quite a solid noise on odd-shaped iron. But you put it up to 3, odd-shaped iron immediately sounds like iron, and that's kind of what you want to do. So stick yours on 3, and then once you've done that, just go down here to notch. You'll see notch is completely off. And the last one here is the silencer is on 2. And then if you go down again, you'll just go back to 3 tones. So coming back out of that menu, scroll down to where it says sensitivity. I've got the sensitivity on 93. And scroll down again and you'll notice frequency max. So what this essentially is doing is it's giving me a maximum frequency of 24 kilohertz, and the lower frequency is probably going to be more around the sort of 10 to 14 range, but it could be a little bit lower as well. Now, if you go into the shift, I've got the frequency shift on here set at 2. But important to note that every time you turn your machine on, that will default, okay? So it's always a good choice to just push scan and see what comes up in your area. but just put whatever works for you. 2 worked for me really well on the last site, so obviously do what you need to do in that particular bit. And then going back down to the menu, we've got the next one, which is iron volume. That's the first tone break volume that we'd already set, so just leave that at 7 because we don't need to adjust that. And then we've got reactivity. I've got reactivity set to 2.5. Absolutely great mid-range reactivity, that one. Recovery speed's ever so important, especially, you know, if you do swing relatively fast. But yeah, 2.5 is most certainly the happy medium for most settings and most presets. And then if you go down again, obviously we've got audio response here. Audio response is set to 5, so that's nowhere near as high as it can go, but it's certainly not low, and it will help you hear and distinguish those really faint, deep targets and punch them through nice and clear. And then we're back to discrimination. So once we've gone all through those and you've programmed them into your remote control, what you'll need to do is just come back. Now, I'll just show you the ground balance menu. So if you go down here, I've got the ground stabilizer on 1. It can't go any lower than 1. Essentially, that's the DEUS 2's version of off. But keep that one on 1 unless you're getting sort of knocking noises when you're hitting rocks or pieces of mud, then maybe put it up. But to be honest, you know, there's very rare instances where you would actually need ground stabilizer. So try and keep it as low as possible. And that's pretty much it for that menu. However, we've got a couple more tweaks to do now because obviously with version 1.0 and 1.1, they've added things in the menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the audio menu first. So we're going to push select on there. Now, we don't need to worry about the audio volumes, but what we want to know here is audio filter. I've got no audio filtering on this program whatsoever. I can see a benefit of audio filtering. However, it will kind of dull out some of those really nice signals. So to be honest, you know, if you're hunting for things at relatively good depth, you probably don't really want to use audio filtering because yes, you will still hear it, but it won't be as loud and as punchy. So as I say, there's definitely good uses for it, especially if you're skimming the top or you're skimming in sort of ploughed or rolled fields, then yeah, absolutely use it. But if you're going out for depth and maybe you're working fields that you've done before and you're just going out to pick out all those other bits, leave audio filter off because I don't think you'd really need it in that particular instance. And then from audio filter, you're just going to push down again and you're going to go into the equalizer. Okay, now quite a powerful tool on the DEUS. You've got to remember the DEUS 2 is a very customizable machine, a lot more than most other machines on the market. So if they're giving you really cool features like this, trust me, you want to use them. They can really, really benefit you. And on the Forager program, we've got some really interesting equalizer presets for you to get your head around. So essentially, we've got 4 equalizer bands. And if you look at the first one, okay, that is boosted all the way up to +9 dB. If you go to the next one, that's completely normal, so it's set to 0 dB. And if you go up to the 2K range, that's at +3 dB. And across again to the 4K range, and that's +6 dB. So I would strongly advise programming those in because what essentially that's going to do is it's going to give the iron a really indicating low grunt, and we've boosted up that bass frequency at the bottom so that you can really hear iron. And that's going to be really handy if you're dealing with a target that you're not too sure what it is, but that, you know, there's got that sort of little irony grunt to it. Well, that will help just push that iron through, so you'll definitely be able to hear it. And then the other frequencies up the range here, essentially all they're going to do is just boost the higher frequencies. So when you get a really nice high conductor, that's just going to make it sound just that little bit sweeter. So yeah, program those in, guys. As far as all the other options, I've got PWM audio, but of course you can put whatever you want on there. I really like PWM audio. It's, you know, for me on 3 tones just works absolutely fantastically. And as I said, target separation on this program is fantastic as well. So that is pretty much it for this program. I use it on the 9-inch, I use it on the 11-inch, and I use it on the 13-inch coil. And there is very minimal iron faulting. You get absolutely great depth, great target separation, and yeah, I strongly advise that you guys go out and try this and let me know what you think of it. Please do save it as Forager, of course, so you know where you got it from. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So plenty more metal detecting videos to come on the channel. I've got a really interesting one coming out next week, so stay tuned for that one as well. But I hope you enjoy the program. Please comment below, let me know what you think about it. And yeah, thank you very much. Do subscribe, of course, if this has helped you. And if you want to support the channel and support what I do, then drop us a thumbs up as well. But that's it from me. Thank you very much, and I will catch you all on the next hole.